with arms wide open. What is this? I don't know. We're going to call it a podcast. Uh-oh, you're a small one. Baby monitors. All right, what are we doing here? I'm going to move my camera. Are you going to be long enough? There we go. Now you can see the side of my face. Anyway, back to where we were. Yeah. What is this? Podcast, vlog, project, waste of everyone's time? Hopefully not. Anyway, I spent... How old am I? 27. Anyway, this guitar, I found it in my uncle's basement. It was my grandmother's. I'll give you a close-up. The year was... I have no idea. So I was 13, somewhere around that time. So that would have been 2001, somewhere around there. 2001, found in my uncle's basement. Can you see that? Fender Music Master 2 from 1964, I believe. A great guitar for a free guitar. It was my grandma's, my mom's mom. And I learned on this guitar. It had a single humbucker. I'll give you a little preview of what it did look like. It had a single pickup that sounded like garbage. So I decided that I was going to make it super cool. So I did. And what is now a relic, I customized to be my own little Frankenstein. I routed it out, added 2 humbuckers. I replaced the nut. I replaced the tuners. I replaced this terrible, what is this called? Bridge. So these were saddles. It had 3 independent saddles. So you could only get your intonation close enough between 2 strings, bottom 2, middle 2, top 2, together. Clearly, based upon what you see there, it would have not been accurate. But it was good enough. So I started learning it in 2001-ish. Never took a lesson, not a brag. Take lessons if you can or want to. I never really wanted to. I just picked it up and I started learning. Played with the radio. I have not plugged this in years, maybe a decade. I don't know. So it's literally just, who knows how old these strings are. It's not in tune, but it's not that bad. So either I chose to have it a half step down, or it changed that much. Who knows? For a time, I was in a band called Future Wolf. Look them up. They're pretty cool. I am not on the recording, but I did write a bit of one of the songs that they ended up using. It was a fun little jam. But Nick's concept is that we all had to play Fenders. So fortunately, I had a Fender. I'll have to look it up. And that's Future Wolf with a ULF. So Future WULF. Future Wolf by Future Wolf. Why are you playing over there? I want you to play through my Scarlet, because that's where my headphones are. There we go. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. So, started learning guitar on my own, but just because guitar players are cool, and I wanted to be cool. I was not cool. I was in the band, marching band, and symphonic band. Yeah, I played percussion, and in the marching band I played tenors, is what we called them. I've also heard them called toms. 4 drums and a little drum in the middle. Very front heavy, terrible for your back. And they have young people wearing unfitted harnesses to march around with, but it taught me stuff that I've used throughout my time. So guitar lessons, no, but I was trained musically. Joined the band in 2000. Not 2000. I joined the school band in the 6th grade and was in it through the 12th. 12th was a bit of a joke because I had already joined the Army by then, and I literally just slept in class every day because who cares? Marching band season, I performed. That was fun. But well, that's not cool. Internal high temp. And so my camera just died. We'll be right back, folks. Well, that was fun. Where were we? Right. My Frankenstein. So yes, I routed it out. I made it mine. I wrecked my car in 2004. It needed to be repainted. I picked this super cool electric blue. It was actually a pretty sweet car. Maybe I'll drop a picture. And then I had a friend whose dad had a cabinet company, and he had a spray gun, painting, whatever, I don't know what you call it, and painted it with leftover car paint that I have. So it's got this unique car paint on it. Sounds fine. Does get beat up pretty bad if you aren't careful with it. I'm a pretty clumsy person, but have learned over the years how to be a little bit less clumsy. You want to hear it? Of course you do. That's what you're here for, right? Guitar stuff, music stuff, and all you've been doing is talking, dude. What are you talking about? You're not even talking about anything cool, bro. We just add in from my handy dandy templates, quick takes input 3 and 4, so eventually I will be sharing these things with you. How I set up my templates, blah, 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 whatever. There we go. Anyway, started learning guitar back in the day on my own, just listening to the radio. Have a best friend who started learning basically the same time as me. We both got guitars around the same time. We both learned together at the same time. We pitched in together to buy our first recording device, a Boss 900 something. Mainly stayed over at his house. I did occasionally play around with it. It was a pain in the butt to record on, but it had 16, I don't know, virtual tracks. So it was like first foray into what would become my passion. I had multiple bands in high school, really 2 bands, so multiple, 2. One with a friend of mine who played guitar and drums, Chris Silverthorne, shout out. We were in a band called Ultimate Decision. Woo! I drew a super cool logo. It was very 2003. That was my first band. It was basically a Creed cover band. With arms wide open. And we had a few originals, something about some dogs. I don't remember. And then comes along Driven, also Chris Silverthorne in that one, playing the drums. He played guitar in Ultimate Decision, moved over to drums in Driven, or whatever we want to call it. I don't know. Brad, my best friend, who I learned guitar with, was guitarist. I was always the bassist in most of my early bands. Even though I played guitar, I was happy going to the bass. I don't have that bass anymore. It was a handy dandy older version of the Geo that I have now. You're corded, dummy. Take off your cord. Ooh. Ooh. But yes, it's a sound gear by Ibanez. I think they used to be called Geo or something. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, happy playing bass. That was fun. I still like playing bass, but prefer guitar. Yeah, so I learned over the years and then cut to joining the Army. Didn't really play much for many of those beginning years until I went through a breakup, a serious breakup, if you would put it that way. Got back into my guitars because I had all the time in the world and nothing else to do. At that time, we had progressed past physical recording devices into DAWs, so I bought Reaper. Then that would have been around 2010, probably. And yeah, spent the next 15 years this year learning. Always learning. But learning's the fun part. Honestly, I do love learning. So learning lots of different things and building out my personal process. So what is all this rambling BS about? It's a podcast, bro. But yeah, so I've developed my own personal process. I would love to be able to play in a group, but timing, got a kid, got a job, got everything, a house to take care of, grass to cut. I've learned how to just do it on my own. And there's something to it that is different than collaborating. It's like I'm collaborating with myself from the past or the future or whatever. Let's try to wrap this up quick because my camera keeps overheating. Not sure why. It is a little warm in here. I also realized I put in this backdrop, screen, curtains, whatever you want to call them. You guys can't see the back of my room. It was literally just meant to be less of a distraction. Just narrow, long room that I built when I had a lot of free time. This would have been a really cool video to make, but I wasn't doing that back then. Anyway, I'm doing this. I've decided I'm doing this. What am I doing? We'll figure it out together, right? That's kind of literally it, is let's figure it out together. What else did I talk about? I don't know, something. I forgot it already. Back to my process. That's where I developed it. My memory is about as long as a gnat. What does that mean? I don't know. I just come down here, I turn on my computer, I have quick commands to just start recording. I warm up after I warm up or during warm up, whatever I'm feeling. I just feel it out. And if I'm feeling creative, I'll just start doing that. If not, I'll just keep playing warm-ups until maybe something clips, maybe an hour goes by, maybe 15 minutes into it at 5:35 a.m. I wake up at 4 so that I can get down here and have any amount of time to myself to do any of this because my child wakes up. Anyway, back to the point. I am wanting to just document, share, walk through my process over the coming years, months, days. We'll see how long this goes. No, I'm doing it. We're sticking with it. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do this consistently and live life. So props to you guys, YouTube creator folks out there who are able to do this full time, especially if you have kids. You guys, without the old trope, is true. You don't know until you know. Yeah, it's hard, but I love it. So this is what I'm going to do. And if you're interested, then come along with me. We'll go through my process. I'll do some warm-up stuff. Big shout out to Berth. He had a cool warm-up videos that helped me through plateaus in my life. So although I never took a real lesson, I've taken plenty of YouTube lessons, which you can learn everything on YouTube, and hopefully there's somebody out there who can learn something from what I know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It might not all be music. I like technical stuff. I like learning how to video edit. This is going to be part of it. Maybe even into what my day job is, which is development, coding, playing with AI every day, building applications. Who knows? Whatever. Literally what I'm wanting to do is this and share it with the world. If anybody watches it, that's cool. If not, I documented my process, and one day maybe my daughter will be able to watch it and say, hey, look, this is what Dad was wasting all his time doing downstairs. Hopefully not. But I do have music released, and speaking of my daughter, that was the catalyst to me starting anything. Again, we'll go into details of my process later after I get a fan to cool off this overheating camera, apparently. Yeah, she was born in November of 2021, and I decided leading up to that I wanted to release music to the world, but also for her. So I released the very first song that I ever released on her actual birthday, November 14th. It's called Lil Poopas. Wife drew the artwork. I wrote the music, edited, produced, published, mastered, mixed, everything. All those fancy words. And yeah, it was fun. I still listen back to it now and I'm like, wow, I did that. And then the decision was that every year on her birthday, I will release something. So far I've got 3 singles and an album that you can check out on all streaming platforms, including YouTube. Look up John Michael Peden, JonMichael, all one word. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, and check them out if you're interested. They're all instrumental. So if you're into that, if you're not, oh well, too bad, not for you. I like them. I am happy with them. 4 singles and an album that has 7 songs on it, all released February. Why am I going back to February? November 14th. And I have another band project, whatever you want to call it, that I release some music with. I wrote the music. My friend Nick, Future Wolf, he has moved out to the West Coast, but we continued to share back and forth, and he did the vocals and the drums. I wrote the guitars and the bass, and he did the production on it through his production company, Effigy Media. That is called Fatebringer. If you want to check that out, that'd be cool too. Fun stuff. But yeah, we'll see where this goes. We have no idea. We're going to learn together, and thanks for watching.